Welcome back. Here we are looking at numbers 23, 24, and 25. Ready? Number 23. Jacob made $507 this year. If he makes the same amount monthly, how much did he make each month? So you have to know something about the word year and months and the word each. This means I take his total divided by the months, right? And how many months are in a year, everybody? 12. So I take 507 divided by 12. All right. I know my 12 times table, so this should be all right. 12 does not go into 5, so I place an X there. 12 will go into 50 4 times, right? Because 12 times 4 is, say it with me, 48. So subtract 48. And you get a 2, and you bring down the 7. How many times will 12 go into 27? Twice, which would be 24. And you subtract, and I get 3. So he made $42, remainder 3 each month. Ah, it's money. What do we know about money? Is we must use a decimal. I'm going to go ahead and put that in an orange sign right here because I know, I'm going to put the dollar sign. Because I know that this is money, it means that I am going to use a decimal. So I've got some remainder, which means I'm going to have to convert to a decimal. So I put a decimal in my quotient. I drop down a 0 from my dividend. I'm going to kind of outline that 0 in this scarlet color and show where it's going. I'm going to keep going. How many times will 12 go into 30? Twice, right? I have to extend my quotient bar. It goes into 30 twice as well. And that would be 24. Oh man. 30 minus 24 is 6, so I'm still not done. I have to do it again. I have to put another 0 in the dividend, drop it down to my remainder until I have proof that it finally ends in 0. Well, you're in luck because 12 will go perfectly into 60. How many times is what goes on the quotient? 12 times what gives us 60? Go ahead and say the answer in 3, 2, 1. If you said it was 5, you are correct. Show that with proof. Write the word proof and circle your answer. So what do we do with this remainder? We converted it into a decimal. So how much did he make each month? Jacob made $42.25 each month. Okay, number 24. Jonna made a rectangular sign. The area of the sign is 7 square meters, and its length is 4 meters. What is the width of the sign? Oh my goodness. We have the area. Oh, I'm going to use green. We have the area, which is 7, and we divide by the length, which is 4. Well, that's interesting. We're doing 7 divided by 4. Will you do number 24 just right here? Let's write it here to the side. This is number 24. We forgot to do that with the other ones. Sorry about that. So this is number 24. I take the area, which is 7, and I divide it by 4. Some people think, oh, this is just so easy. It will be kind of easy, and we can kind of decide what we're going to end up doing with the remainder. So how many times will 4 go into 7 without going over? That's right, only 1 time. So you put a 1 in the quotient, you subtract 4, And you cannot say this. The width is 1 remainder 3. I could change this to a fraction. I could say it's 1 3/4. Or I could convert it to a decimal. Let's do a fraction since we haven't done that yet. So to do this, I can, because this is a measurement, everyone write measurement on the side. Because it's a measurement, I can do a fraction. Do I have to do a fraction? No. I could do a decimal, but fractions are so much easier. You just bring it up. The remainder is the numerator and the divisor is the denominator. I'm pretty sure everyone got that pretty quickly when we did this in class, how to make that into a fraction. So the answer is the width is 1 3/4, and then it's whatever the unit of measurement is. Meters. Wouldn't be square meters because that's the area and I just found the width. Okay, lastly, number 25. We're going to do number 25 down here. Number 25. Lakeisha and Raj went to an electronics store. Lakeisha bought a television for $358.40. That's going to be important, I bet. This is 28 times as much as Raj spent on a new video game. Ooh, there's that phrase, times as much as. So because it says this is, it does not mean that you multiply. When it has the this is statement, that does mean divide. So you take, so how much did Raj's video game cost? Ooh, we're dealing with money. It's going to end up being, let's go ahead and put the dollar sign. Do you know what it's going to be? If you're dealing with money, how much did Raj's video game cost? This is going to be a decimal. Sometimes when you deal with money, like it might ask you how many months did it take someone to save. You wouldn't necessarily do that in a decimal, but if you are asking for a dollar or a money amount at the end, like how much did something cost, you would make sure you convert it to a decimal. Okay, so we take 358.40 and we divide it by 28. Well, there is a decimal in the dividend, and there's not one in the divisor, so what do? I bring the decimal straight up, make it bold, and I continue. This is a 2-digit divisor, so I quickly round it to something that will make sense to me. What does 28 round to? That ends in a 0. If you said 30, you're right. And now I just do multiples of 30, or I think of multiples of 3, and I'm trying to get it into these numbers. So 28 won't go into 3, but it will go into 35. Ooh, I don't really need this 30 yet because 28 is only going to go into 35 once. I know that just by mental math. So then I do the subtraction, and I get 7. I bring down the next number, which is 8. So now I'm looking at 78. That makes a little more sense. How many times will 28 go into 78, do you think? 30, 60, 90. That's 3 times, and that seems quite a bit off. So probably only twice. So let's try 28 times 2. See what we get. Go ahead and do that on your own. I got 56. So I always look and go, well, I'm supposed to be getting 78. Could I get 28 more out of this? 20 more would be 76. 22 more would be 28, so I won't be able to. So it is a 2 in my quotient line. I need to subtract 56, which gives me a pretty big remainder. But look, that remainder is still less than 28. So it works. And I bring down the 4. Now I'm looking into 224. Wow, it's going to be a lot more than 2. Because 2 was only 56. I'm trying to get to 224. So I go to my 30 to help this process be a little easier. And let's do 30 times like, I don't know, 5. That would be 115 with a 0. 150. Still a lot higher. 30 times 7 would be 21 with a 0, 210. 30 times 8 would be 240. We can either try 8 or you can dump it back down to 7. What do you want to do? Let's try 7. Or do you want to try 8 just to see if it was too much? Ooh, I don't know. I think we should try 7. Ooh. 196 and 224. We better try 8 right next to it. Just to make sure. You could also have subtracted 196 from here to see if you could get more than 28 left over, but I'm just doing the multiplication first. Oh, it was exactly 8. I knew that. It's because of the rounding. So 8 is in my quotient. 224 gets subtracted. The next number you bring down is 0, so you have to end it with 0 because 28 will not go into 0. So the answer is 1280. So how much did Raj's video game cost? Raj's video game cost, put a dollar sign, $12.80. Whenever I put a period at the end of talking about money, I always make sure my money decimal is big and then my period is small at the end of the sentence so that it looks a little better. Wow, we just did a lot of practice with remainders. So we have definitely practiced that, and I know you can do it. So here's what I want to do. I want to take your yellow green or the lime green, and I'm going to section off all of the work we did for different numbers because I think it can get a little confusing unless it's very clear where the work is for that. So like this one where we talked about a decimal and the other one, the cloud almost hit into it. What number was this one? The 4225? Oh, it's number 23. So I am going to just write number 23 because the rest of them we kept pretty organized. Yep, and then there's 22 up at the top and 21. So I'm just going to split that. The one that took the most amount of work was number 22, it looks like. I don't know, 25 was pretty hard too. Okay, so let's flip our journal back. Make sure you've sectioned out in green all the different things that we've done. Sometimes even outlining your paper that we cut. That helps too, to help keep it organized. Let's go back to the front of our journal where it says, I can determine what to do with my remainder in a story problem depending on the situation. You absolutely can do that. I believe you can. I know you can. Check it off. Okay? And the last thing we're going to do is take a quick look at homework and remembering. On the homework side, I have highlighted a few problems. You should first of all make sure that your name, number, and date are on here. But I have highlighted these problems, 3, 11, and 12. Because we're going to do them. So let's do them quick. Number 3. I've got a decimal in the divisor, so I've got to get rid of it. If I move that once, I have to move this one once. It would mean that it's in between the 6 and 4. In between the 6 and 4. I'm going to rewrite it right here. So now it just became 8 into 6.4. Decimal goes straight up. 8 will not go into 6, so you can place a 0 there or an X. I'm going to do a 0 because it's the decimal. And 8 goes into 64 exactly 8 times. I'm not going to make you solve that. I am going to make you circle it in the scarlet color, though. Please do that in the right color. Thank you. Okay, number 11. 28 into 2380. There's no decimals. It's a 2-digit divisor, so I'm going to round it to 30. it won't go in, 28 won't go into 2 or 23, but it will go into 280. So your first number will be above the 8. And I'm looking for 238, and I'm going to deal with 30. So 30 times 7 was 210. 30 times 8 is 240, which is super close to 238. And I rounded up, so that means it probably could be 8. Let's try it. 28 times 8. That's 16 plus 6, 24. 244? Did I do that right? That's 64. 16 plus 6 would be 22, not 24. Well, that makes a big difference. So it's 224. So it is 8. Good. I got 14 as a remainder, which means I did it right. And then I drag this down. Ooh! It doesn't have to be colored in. Sorry, that's confusing. Don't color it in. Ooh, this is awesome. You know why? Because 14 is half of 28, so I know that this is going to be 5. 28 times 5 is going to be 140. You don't believe me? Let's prove it. Aha! There's my proof. You're going to write proof. Isn't that cool? So those of you who are paying attention, you just learned something new. Pretty quick trick. If the remainder, even if it has a 0 on it, is half of the divisor, it's going to always be a 5. It's kind of like that 0.5 rule too. Okay, number 12. Oh my word, we have a lot of decimals going on. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Awesome. It's just at the end up here. That's kind of how that works. So I am just going to rewrite it real quick. So it's 33 into 5, 1, 4, 8. And then there's a decimal at the end up there if we need it. I hope we don't because I'm out of space, but here we go. 33 is close again to 30. We're using 30 a lot today. But it won't go into 5. It will go into 51. Will it go twice? 33 doubled is 66, so no. It has to just be 1. So put a 1 above the 1. Subtract the 33. You're at 18. Bring down the next number. Now, 30 times 6 would be, 3 times 6 is 18. So 30 times 6 would be 180. Which is only 4 away from here, but the real number is 33, so it can't be 6. It's going to have to be 5. I'm just going to do my math here. 165. So 5 up here. You really should be solving these on your own as much as possible. And 198. So it has to be more than 5 times. 6 times probably, because you're only at 30 more would be 95. Yeah, it's going to be exactly 6 times. But you got to keep showing all the work because it's so fun. Write proof. Woo! 156. Let's circle it in scarlet. We didn't need the decimal, which is fine. This other one was 85. Okay. That's some fun math we have going on here, isn't it? All right, and lastly, take a look at 13, 14, and 15. I want us to just quickly look and see if you will know, use your green, what to do with the remainder. So I'm not even going to solve it with you. I just want you to think about it. Just look at the very end of the question. How many roses will Georgia have left over? Hello? How many when someone has left over? You use your remainder as your answer. You need to write remainder, remainder, remainder. Underline them in green. And then on the first one, you're going to use your remainder as your answer. Second one. She's jarring peaches. Each jar holds this much. How many jars will she need to hold all the peaches? It means that if you have a leftover, you can't leave any peaches out. So you're going to round up or +1 to your answer. And the third one, number 15. We have the area of a room. The length of the room is 9.5. What is the width? Ooh, we're going to be dealing with decimals. So instead of doing a fraction here, because of that decimal, you know, measurement can always be decimals or fractions, but because of this decimal, I would say you want to do decimal. That would be the best tip there, I think. Okay, so you need to complete all of them on the homework side. It's a lot on the remembering side. You can do this, though. Look how basic this stuff is, you guys. This is stuff from September. Look at number 3. Oh, actually, I want to do number 6 looks fun. Look. Remember, you have to do fractions. If I don't have any fractions, I can't take away 2/3. So I knock for neighbor 12. Hi, neighbor 12. Thanks for the candy bar. Remember this? So I take that one whole and I did 3/3 because this one's thirds. I take that 3/3 that I borrowed from here. That's why it dropped down a whole. It's because 3/3 is a whole. Went back to my house and now I can give away 2/3. 3/3 minus 2/3 is a third. And 11 minus 5 is 6. Oh my word. Circle that in scarlet. This used to seem so difficult to us, but that should go pretty fast. So you have to do all on the homework side, all on the remembering side, and guess what? That even includes stretch your thinking today. Take your scarlet, write the word do, make a sunshine over it, and write yes, you have to do this one. It's not optional. It's not for a stamp. It is required today. It's so easy, though. Write a real world division problem for which you would drop the remainder. So I don't even need the numbers that would work. I just want to know if you know of situations where you would ignore the remainder. Okay, good luck with that. Can't wait to read them. Here is my last bit of instructions for you. This is so much division. Okay, I really think it would be so helpful to you to show your work on a separate piece of paper, but I'm not going to make you, because on 13, 14, 15, you can definitely fit that here or along the bottom. The ones, and there's a lot of these that are just mental math and moving decimals. So the ones that I'm worried about might be like number 8, number 9, number 10. So will you please make sure that you're doing the work small or on a separate piece of paper? Please, please, please be careful when you're solving these problems. All right, that was it for today. Tomorrow we have one more lesson, and it is pretty complicated, but today should have felt pretty much like a review. So tomorrow, get ready for a little more difficult problems, and then we'll review and prepare ourselves for the test. Good luck on homework and remembering. Work quickly and work quietly.